Hello everybody, welcome back to Road to Master. Hope you're all having an amazing day. We're starting off with the white pieces against an 1870 from Egypt. Scandinavian, very, very interesting. Let's see what we get. We get a queen d5. We'll go for knight c3. Hopefully we get a fun line. They go for the check line instead. The check line's an interesting one. I don't think it's particularly amazing. Queen a5 is the move. Queen d7, d8 are both probably slightly better. The check line is completely viable. Well, we're just going to block the check. We're going to block with the bishop. And we've been here before. We have been here before. I made the mistake last time of going knight f3. In fact, you can just leave this. d4, sorry, is probably the better choice. With like a bishop e3. Perfectly viable options, I think. If anything, we just go queen takes. Knight takes also a viable option as well. So we'll go ahead with d4. In fact, knight takes so we can cover the pawn. Then the queen stays on this pin. The queen goes ahead and stays on the pin. So I'm not sure if I... Bishop e3. d5 seems overcommittal. I don't know if that's the way you say that. Seems like an overcommitment in the center. So I think probably just an e3 is the right move. Then we can go ahead and threaten this bishop, get the knight out as well. And I think we're quite happy. So we'll just go bishop e3, play it safe, and just aim to have a good game. I think here we take with the queen, threatening some checkeroonies here. In fact, we can just do that. There, wins one of them. They can block with the queen, but then they're getting doubled pawns. And that just looks quite nice, to be honest. That just looks very, very nice. They move the king. There, we still take this pawn. Not threatening anything now, but it's not a nice position for them. So we'll go ahead and double their pawns. We don't have a bishop pair or anything crazy, but it's an inherent weakness in our opponent's position. So I am very, very happy with that. Question is, how do we hit this? They have the immediate threat of knight b4. Is seeming scary. Hitting both the fork and then as well rook b8's an idea. So I'm not sure if a simple a3 here is good enough. We'll go for that. We've got time to develop. Like, they're completely underdeveloped. They long castle. That can't be right. I mean, there's no threat on this pawn, so we might as well just keep developing. There's no threats or anything. This wins a pawn with this fork. This just seems like sloppy play from our opponent, to be honest. In fact, he can't really stop us getting this pawn. It'll have to be like a rook d8. But that just doesn't look pleasant at all. So I'm just really, really happy here. To be honest, I'm really happy. They completely misplayed this. This knight a6 is such a strange move. You never want to develop your knight to the edge of the board. That's a good general rule. We've got a free exchange here that we're just going to gobble up. There's no reason why we can't. And I think probably even a long castles here could do the trick for us. If I just think about that for more than half a second. Probably not, actually. Should we stay safe? Short castle. Give them nothing. I think that's something I need to work on is limiting my opponent's counterplay. So probably just the castles here. Stay safe. Get the rooks on the open file. b4 if absolutely necessary. I want to avoid that if possible. f3 is a potential move. Again, just limiting their squares. We'll happily take. Will we happily take? I'm not even sure if we will happily take. That's a good question. What do we do here? What do we do here? Because we are up the exchange, but we aren't up any pawns. And I think the pawns are the key here. Because we don't have any immediate way to sort of get our rooks in the game. Maybe like a b4 push could work. But then the knight's coming there, and it's same sort of problems. Yeah. Rook c1. Knight there takes. Pawn takes c4. c6 takes. c takes. e takes. And then we just play these two. It's probably a good idea, I think. But which rook do we want? That is the question. Because if we move this rook, we're preventing any play sort of on the king side. If we move this a rook, we're going to have a hard time backing up these pawn pushes. So it's a bit tricky. It's a bit tricky. To be honest, I probably think this one. No. Let's put this rook on e1. Let's put this rook on e1. We'll do the thing if they do that, and then just go rook c1, and then we'll play that, and then we've at least got like an open file there if the trades happen. Bishop d6 isn't particularly scary, I don't think. Maybe an f3 here. Still drop the bishop back, or do we want to sort of trade these bishops off? I would like to go knight e4 and sort of get the trade off that way. Hitting both of these would be nice. We'll go rook c1. Rook a c1, I should say as well. There. I think we said b4, right? b4 seems harmless. They could sack, but I don't think that would do anything for us. They've done the thing. And yeah, just do that. Trade off. Push c4. And we'll play everything on the queen side. I think is the proper way to do it, really. They go with d takes. Now, d takes doesn't seem wise at all, because we already have a strong claim on this open file. So here I think we push c4 anyway, and look to get their triple isolated pawns. Would be very, very nice. If not, we'll play c5 and lock everything up. Now, we could even just ignore that, but I think we probably should take it, right? We probably don't want to be going down pawns in this situation. But yeah, I'm still happy. I'm still happy, I think. We've got a lot of their breaks under control. We'll drop the rook back just to look to trade off more pieces. Get the bishop on like g5, maybe even d2. Maybe get the king even to f1, noting that this is not a thing because we trade off. Knight back to... I mean, realistically, where is this knight going? Nowhere. It's completely boxed in. Completely boxed in, so that's a plus. Where do we put this bishop, though? I believe is a slight problem. Because we have all our pawns on dark squares at the minute. I'd love to trade off a bishop. We'll go g4 and we'll look for a bishop f4, I think. At least getting off the rooks. I'm not going to take their bishop. It's more of just a make a decision for them sort of thing. We got to speed up as well. They go for it. Now, I'm okay with this. It looks bad, but realistically, I think it's probably more akin to opening up our lines, which I think is important. We'll put the rook on e5 just to limit the king's activities. Knight there is annoying, but we'll go after this pawn. I don't think there's much they can do about that one. We'll try get their pawn structure a bit weak here, and then move over to a5, and there's not much they can do. There is not much they can do. They would have to push this, but we take with check. If they move the knight, we get there, and now the king's just going to come all the way in. We can break with a h4. We can get the king to have all these. I'm going to leave that there for now. In fact, f5 is probably a good idea here, actually. f5, push. Yeah, f5 I like. It just stops them getting the pawn structure they want, I think. And now even an f4 could be an idea. If h4, they get like a nice-ish sort of thing. Do they? Can I go h4? h5? No, we'll go h4. We'll go h4. f4 is probably better, actually. I don't think it matters much. I don't think it matters much. And then we'll break with f3. I think we're good here. They're going to run out of moves. We're going to get the king in. And it's practically over. Yeah. I say that there is still some chess to be played. But, I mean, up the exchange with their pieces all tied up. Their king can't get in this side. We've got a d5 as an idea. We can play a4 just to get a tempo. King goes back, then we push d5, I think. Get the king in. Yeah, I think that's fine. We take... we can throw in the check there. Worst case, we come behind and grab these. Because the king can't get in over here, no matter what, really. Oh, you know what I'll do? I'll go d5 check and come behind this way. I think he's a bit more tidy. Would I consider trading off the knight? King takes king there. It's a possibility. I don't think it's worth the risk, though. We'll just get this and promote this pawn. Is the easier way to do things. They have no real checks. They have no real anything, to be honest. They just have no play. We can give them that, I think. We can probably give them that. They're going to have a while to get this one. I know it's not exactly clinical. It's a bit lazy, but... oh, I don't think that's right for them. They've let our king come in a bit. And we're just going to push this pawn. They can't take that pawn because of the check. I win the knight. So we'll just go ahead and push this. Push this, try get a queen. We'll trade off the rook for the knight or something. And their king's way outside of this box as well. So unless they make some very quick moves to get the king inside the box, it's not going to work out very well for them. Yeah. Actually, have I messed that up? No, because we have a knight rook there. We can go rook g8 here, which is really nice. Stopping the knight getting to g5. Stopping the king getting to g5. Their better move was just king g5 there. It was a bit sloppy, but nevertheless, we have the queen. And we're going to take an extra pawn here. We can try work some checks, but eventually pick up hopefully everything. We'll get the queen there. Get the king there. There is nothing they can do. If you're ever in time trouble as well against a passed pawn, just get the queen in front of the passed pawn. The king can't physically do anything about that. So yeah, all good stuff, I think. All very good stuff. We'll just get the king over. No need to push the pawn. And just go for a clean mate. Just go for a pretty clean king and queen checkmate. Nice little help from this pawn here as well. Yeah, all good. Hopefully a good warm-up for today. I've got another match tonight. Feels like I'm playing so many matches at the minute, and not all of them have great results. So I've got my lessons straight after this as well, which I'm super looking forward to. But yeah, I'm feeling good. Feeling good about my chess. This should get us to a reasonably decent score here. +8 for that. What are we at now? 1887. That's got to be one of our highest so far. I think it definitely is our highest. Definitely a bit sloppy there, going towards the end. But when you're winning like that, it doesn't particularly matter. You know, it's nice to be clinical, but, you know, realistically, you're going to have to work hard to mess that one up. 88.2 versus an 82.6. 2300 versus 2200. Decent game. The opening was just dodgy from them. We learned from our mistakes last time. D4 is the move. Rather than knight f3, which we've seen. Bishop takes, and the pin from your bishop forces a g3. It's not horrible. We did actually win that game simply by kicking the queen about with their undevelopment, potentially some g-file attacks, but it's not pleasant at all. Queen e6. Apparently, this is just bad. This is plus 1.9, and the move is f2. That's one to remember as well. Bishop f5, and I wonder why this is bad. I guess it's just more development. Like, I know the computers really, really love good development. Oh, and you get the fork. They're going to have to play an f5. Oh, and then you kick the queen with d5, sorry. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, with tons of ideas around that. Yeah, that's really, really nice. Continue developing. You've got a knight e5 coming. Yeah, I love that. I really, really love that. So what's that from? That's from queen back to e6, and then you play f3. One to remember. They went bishop. We went bishop e3, which is a miss. Still fine though. Takes. Queen takes is the best move because you're opening up these nasty ideas with the queen. This is just not a good move, and apparently we didn't even capitalize on it properly. I mean, it's still plus 1.2 here, but the move is d5, and I'm guessing that's just some queen tempo, similar ideas. No, literally just development. Wow, and that shows you the power of development, because this is plus 2.7. But I am very much a pawn structure ruiner, I guess is the word. I'm not sure. But I like making weaknesses, long-term stuff that I can sort of exploit. That's what I like doing. So getting these double isolated pawns, it's just a bonus for me, really. Something I can work towards, because it makes having a plan easier if they have a like dead set weaknesses. Something you can sort of exploit, and I think that it just clicks with me, you know. And even if it's not great, it gives me the confidence to create play and create threats. So anyway, e6 just allows knight e5. I actually like this from them. I think giving me the extra pawn with these isolated pawns isn't going to go well, so the exchange is probably their best shot. So yeah, we castle, just develop. Rook e1, all these ideas. b4 is the only thing we can really do there. We trade off and push with c5. Takes is interesting, actually. I really thought they were gonna. Yeah, actually, I thought they were going to take with c. I think I said, which apparently is the best move, and it just leaves a bit of a nicer pawn structure. There is no clear open files that I can use with my exchange, so I think it's just nicer to play. Taking with the e pawn, it leaves two things that I can exploit, and a good rule of thumb is to create two weaknesses, because one weakness you can defend with all your pieces. Two weaknesses, you've got to split your forces up. So yeah, when you create two weaknesses, it's going to be a lot more effective than if you just leave with one weakness, which is potentially this backwards pawn. If you take with the c pawn, this backwards pawn here, that's your one weakness. Everything else is pretty solid, to be fair. Even like the bishop being on the dark squares, I think probably works good, seeing as how my bishop's the bad bishop. But anyway, c4 breaks. They took. We get the rooks back together. This knight is horrible. I hate to say it, but this knight's really, really bad. It can't go there. It can only go back to b8. Even if it goes back to b8, it could go there, I guess. and then not there and not there. So all these moves, it's trapped no matter what. The king has to go out, or you've got to push this pawn in order to free up one of these two squares, which is not something you want to do because the king's going to be potentially blocking the file, or back to d8 where you're away from the fight. And then c5 is probably going to lose a pawn. So it's not ideal. We look to trade off the bishops, blah, blah, blah. We do it. Again, I don't care about these isolated pawns just because I'm controlling so much territory with these central pawns and the rook as well. With the knight, I think especially, is just... It is devastating for them. They're playing without a piece. We attack the back of their chains, try and make some weaknesses, get the king up. F5, really, really nice idea. Not letting them get the straight line of pawns, which is really, really flexible. Not that they could anyway with the rook here, but it's just making them make commitments. And h4 was actually the right idea, which is good. I wonder what it thought about f4. Probably a similar thing. Apparently the best as well. You've got two best moves. It's the same idea, really. And then it's just weaknesses. Like, these are all weaknesses. I can so easily hit these with the rook, whichever way I go, whether it's through the back or coming round below. But they're long-term targets. We get some open space, which benefits the rook. We get behind. We get a bit sloppy, potentially, but who really cares? You know, we've got this pass pawn. There's nothing stopping that. We definitely get sloppy around here, especially with this h7 move. There's no need for that. Rook g8 is way, way better. Just stopping, like we said, stopping our opponent's counterplay, making a brick wall, basically, and there's nothing they can do. There is nothing they can do. We went risky. King g8, g6, sorry, is just way better here, making, like, really annoying threats. We've got to go to rook d8, and then you've got to make a choice. Do you stop the queen, or do you lose your knight? And it's still completely winning, but it's not as clear cut. You know, you've got some work to do, especially if you're low on time. The other way is just nicer. And then we just promote, blah, blah, blah. Win the pawns. And pretty clean king and rook. Queen and king, actually. But anyway, yeah. 1887. So how many off are we? 87. 2 wins off, potentially. 2 wins off. Scary stuff. Scary stuff. 2 wins off 1900. Let's see if we can get it this week. Let's see. I will be trying my best, my very best with my top openings. No messing about. Hopefully you will be there to join me. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like if you liked. Please subscribe if you really liked. And I'll catch you guys all tomorrow. Bye-bye.